things are changing, and so are people. Could you survive in an economy where it's that if one day we woke up and we had no electricity and food was scarce, what would you do? What could you do as a young brother or a young sister, an older gentleman or an older woman? What would you do to survive? Now, there were times way back when we didn't have electricity and people survived. They learned how to get through on a day-to-day basis. They learned how to hunt their own food and grow their own crops just to survive. So I want you to tell me this. Could you survive if we no longer had electricity and the power grids went out and food was not there for us to just go to the grocery store and get what we needed? Could you survive? I think, in my opinion, the older generation could survive. And let me tell you why. Because there are times when we were growing up and things were tough. We knew how to get through. We knew what to do to make it. But we have a generation now where it's that, they're used to everything just being given to them. They're used to having everything they need at their disposal. But there's going to come a time when all that stuff will cease. I'm keeping it so real right about now. People really don't realize what eventually is to come because the Bible is being fulfilled. That's just a well-known fact. But could you survive? Do you have survival skills to take on surviving this economy that we're in? Because this economy is not good at all. It's kind of scary, but in a way, if you believe and you trust in God, God can get you through anything. Do you know? God can get us through anything. We have to believe and trust in Him. So those that are young and you don't know what it is to be able to, because you're young, what it is to get a job and work and try to pay bills and put food on the table and make a car note and pay insurance, and the list goes on and on and on. You don't know what that's like. But my question today is to see if those things happens, if that were to happen in 2025 or 2026, what would the young generation do? If they had no access to their cell phones, their computers, how would they react and what would they do? And how could they survive? Could they survive without technology? Because technology is everything to the younger generation. They are totally lost without it. And see, when I was growing up, there was a time we did not have cell phones, we didn't have laptops, we didn't have any of those things, but we survived. And we made it through, and we were happier then. We didn't go through all the anxiety and depression that is going on right now in the world. So yeah, I really feel like my generation could make it. The X generation could make it. And the generation after that, possibly, I think. But I'm talking about the younger generation. We got the Alpha generation, which is the very, very young generation. What would you do Would you just cry? Would you see what it is that you can do to survive in a world? Because it's coming. Whether you, me, or anybody else, whether you know it or not, it's the reality. It shall come. It shall come when there'll be a lack of food, water. You know, people are already homeless now. And I've said this in so many of my videos. The richest country in the world, and we have so many homeless people, and that should not be. But it is. It's the reality of it. And I'm looking, out into the future. I'm looking at from what my perspective of what I can see eventually is going to happen. And it's a sad situation because this world is just getting worse and worse with everything that's going on in this world. The school shootings, they took prayer out of school because we had prayer. And when we had prayer in school, guess what? There were no shootings, there were no killings, there was no nothing. Okay, and that's real talk right there. So I would say this again. Do you think the younger generation have survival skills, or they can adapt to some form of survival skills if they were prepped for it? I think now is the time to prep because we don't know what's coming. Something is coming eventually, but right now, our young generation, they're so much into their phones and technology and roadblock, and they can't focus on anything else. It's just that that's the thing for them. That's the thing that they enjoy more than anything. And eventually, when all these things do happen, and it will, all of that will be taken away. So why not teach our children now how to survive in an economy that is to come? Because a lot of people just don't believe. They're sitting there saying, okay, I don't believe things like that. I think things will remain. No, they won't. No, they won't. We live in a world here in the United States where we do have a president who does not want the people to have anything. He wants to strip away everything. So why not think and prepare yourself? Because to be honest with you, that could be any day. We just don't know. But all I know is this: if you had to gather your own food, if you had to go out in the woods and you had to hunt, could you catch a deer? Could you kill chickens? Could you grow your own vegetables? Collard cabbage, tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever. Could you do that? Because a lot of people, they're to the point, they don't know how to do things like that. But when I was growing up, we had gardens, fresh vegetables and stuff like that. And to this day, my mother, she still grows a garden. So for the younger generation who don't know nothing about that, please, I ask you to get some survival skills, to read about it. Even if you have no idea what it is, read about it. Because someday, it's in reality, it's gonna come. And it's best to be prepared rather than, not even be aware or even know what to do. So, yes, just think about what I said and be blessed.